Hello, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
So we'll start with the next topic. Yes, good afternoon. So we will look into the next topic, that is losses which are there in the microstrip line. So yesterday we have just seen the introduction as well as the main concepts of the microstrip line. So today we have actually three different losses to study, which is mainly the ohmic loss, dielectric loss, and radiation losses. Now, before going to that, we need to just understand this dielectric loss and ohmic loss. They have to be derived first. There are certain parameters which affect those losses. After the derivation, you can understand what exactly is those losses. Now, these losses are directly related to the attenuation constant, that is your alpha, which mainly depends on, first is the geometric factor, the structure of the circuit, then the electrical properties of the strip line, or if you say that is a substrate, the top layer, and the conductor, the properties of conductors, as well as the frequency. So attenuation constant of a microstrip depends mainly on the geometric factors, electrical properties of a substrate, as well as the conductor and the frequency. Now, when we consider this magnetic substrate or the substrate, you have two types of losses occurring. The first one, as we have said, that is your dielectric loss in the substrate, and the second one is called as ohmic skin loss in the strip conductor. So this occurs in the strip, this occurs in the substrate. And strip as well as you can also find it in the ground plane. Now, sum of these two losses, suppose if I take alpha D and alpha P, these two losses, sum of these two losses can be related to attenuation factor, that is alpha, in terms of unit length. So you have to find out what is the relation of this attenuation with respect to the sum of dielectric and ohmic loss. So along with the dielectric loss and ohmic loss, a small amount of, there will be a power loss which is occurring in the microstrip line, which is nothing but the radiation loss. So you will be looking into three different losses, dielectric, ohmic, as well as the radiation losses. Now, to derive that, you need to first find out the relation of power. Now, we know that the power carried out, or power which is carried by a wave traveling in the positive z direction, that is a normal voltage equation and the current equation which we have studied till now. If I represent in terms of power, that is half into V into I complex conjugate. And if I consider only the positive z direction, you know the power is V plus e to the power minus alpha z into I plus e to the power minus alpha z. This is nothing but the normal equation which we have studied, V plus e to the power minus alpha z plus V minus e to the power plus alpha z. Similarly, for current, I plus e to the power minus alpha z plus I minus e to the power alpha z. Current as well as voltage equation. Only the positive z direction I'll be taking, so we are considering only the first two equations. Now, if I write the power, that is power is equal to half into V plus e to the power minus alpha z. If I write this current in terms of voltage, it will be V plus e to the power minus alpha z divided by z naught, which again, if I simplify it, it is half. Instead of V plus, I will write it as V plus magnitude of the square. E to the power minus alpha z, e to the power minus alpha z is e to the power 2 minus 2 alpha z divided by z naught. Consider the power equation, half into V into I, half into only the positive z direction we are taking. So it is V plus e to the power minus alpha z, I plus e to the power minus alpha z. Substitute I in terms of voltage. It is V by Z naught. So you have V plus square divided by Z naught. This I have multiplied. E to the power minus alpha Z, e to the power minus alpha Z is e to the power minus 2 alpha Z. But we know that you can also write the output power equation in terms of voltage as V plus square divided by 2Z naught. Or if I write in V square by 2R, how we write generally. Same equation, it is V plus square by 2Z naught. So I can replace this power as P naught into e to the power minus 2 alpha Z, which is equal to P. Consider this equation as 1. So this is nothing but the output power at Z is equal to Z naught or Z is equal to 0. Now attenuation constant, this is one equation which we have got in terms of output power. Now you have to write the attenuation constant, that is alpha. Attenuation constant in terms of microstrip line, it is given as minus dP by dz divided by 2 times of P of Z, which we know it is also the sum of dielectric constant plus your ohmic constant. I'll take it as alpha D. Sum of both dielectric and ohmic constant is related to your attenuation constant per unit length, where attenuation constant alpha is expressed as minus dP by dz divided by twice of P of Z. Consider this equation as 2. Is that okay till now? I clear the screen. Here alpha D is your dielectric attenuation constant, alpha C is ohmic attenuation constant. Now what you have to do is you have to find out what is minus dP
Ma'am,
by...
can you display the previous this one, ma'am? I didn't copy it entirely.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah. Write down what is power. In this power is nothing but the power carried by the wave traveling in positive Z direction. So substitute the voltages of positive Z direction in current divided it by Z naught in terms of, that is, write the current in terms of voltage. You will get P is equal to P naught into e power minus 2 alpha Z. Since P naught is equal to magnitude of V plus squared by 2 Z naught. Next,
Excuse
right?
me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, students are waiting to join class.
It is not visible here. Just a minute.
Is that subscript D, ma'am? Alpha subscript D plus alpha.
Yeah, alpha subscript D.
Yes, ma'am. And what was the power for? Power carried to positive direction. What was it? Positive Z direction.
Power carried by the wave
By
traveling in positive Z direction. Yeah, I think Bharat and one more, 2 of them only, both I guess, no? Those who have joined. I clear the screen.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah.
Now the same equation, that is alpha attenuation constant is equal to minus dP by dz divided by twice of P of Z, which we know it is alpha D plus alpha C. Now you need to find out this equation relating to this. Now write down what is minus dP by dz. That is dP divided by dz. You have to find an equation for this. Minus of d by dz. You have written for P, that is power from the first equation, half into V into I conjugate. Now this is differentiation. Differentiate each term with respect to V and I, that is with respect to D. Suppose first term, if I write, it is half into minus D by dz. I'll take it as V, first differentiation, dV by dz. So it is dV divided by dz into the next term, that is iced complex conjugate. The next term what you have, that is plus half into, I have differentiated V. Now I should differentiate with respect to I. So it is minus di star by dz into V. Just apply the UV, that is differentiation of UV. Half into minus dV by dz into I star, half into minus di star by dz into V. So which is again equal to half differentiation of V, that is in terms of V by Z, you know it is V by R is equal to I. So differentiation of this or differentiation of voltage with respect to R or Z, you can write as a small quantity, that is I. So I can write it directly as I, which is into, Ri, which is into I star. One second, I'll tell you once more. This term, that is differentiation of dV by dz, you can write it as a small quantity where the voltage is differentiated with respect to the z direction. You know V is nothing but I into R. So differentiation of a small quantity, you just write it as I into R. So you can write this equation as I into R. Similarly, half into, that is differentiation of I by Z, that is di by dz, is nothing but, you know, I is equal to V by R, which is nothing but 1 by R is taken as conductance, that is sigma. This is nothing but V. So a small quantity, that is differentiation with respect to Z, you can take it as that is sigma V, whereas you have complex conjugate, you can take it as the complex conjugate V. So this term will be sigma into V star into V.
Ma'am, are we not considering minus, ma'am?
You can consider minus, anyways it will get cancelled. No, here minus altogether, you don't take this minus because this whole together minus gets cancelled. Or you can write it in terms of voltage also, or if you write it in terms of voltage and current, the negative remains same. Here you are just substituting for that. If you take it also, anyways it will get cancelled. Once more I'll tell you, don't get confused in this step. When you consider the voltage with respect to Z, consider the general equation what you write for voltage as I into R. So differentiation of this voltage by the Z, that is nothing but, you will be writing it as R into I or I into R. Similarly for I, it is V by R. 1 by R, we are taking it as conductance. So conductance into V star, which is V. So this equation, you can write it as half into, you know, I into I star is nothing but the magnitude of I, anything with the complex conjugate, which is magnitude of I. So I can write it as magnitude of I square into R plus half into sigma, here it is V into V star, which is equal to magnitude of V square. So this is V, magnitude of V square. So if I write this equation, this term is I square into half into I square into R, which is again the power formula. So I can take this power as PC plus half into sigma into V square. This is with respect to the voltage. I'll consider with respect to the voltage as PD. With respect to current, just why I'm taking this as PC with respect to ohmic constant, because ohms is always related with the resistance. So I have taken this as PC, and this conductance part with respect to the voltage, I've taken it as PD. So just write down this first term, which is related to PC, this term as PD. So you're getting the equation for dP of Z or dP by dZ as PC plus PD. Take this equation as 3. This is the gradient power in Z direction. You are writing in terms of power loss per unit length. One will be dissipated by resistance, the other one which is dissipated by the dielectric. So you are writing in terms of, that is dP by dZ, which is equal to minus d by dZ, half into V into I complex conjugate, half into minus of dV by dZ into I complex conjugate, plus half into minus di complex conjugate by dz into V. Even if you take minus here, when you consider minus I and I star, it will become magnitude of square. So either you can consider it and eliminate it here, or you can directly eliminate it here. So I into R, sigma into V star. So you'll get half into magnitude of I square into R, half into sigma into V square. So the first term with respect to resistance is the power dissipated with respect to the resistance as PC. The next one is power dissipated due to dielectric. Take it as equation 3, where here sigma is the conductivity. Next, done.
What is PC called, ma'am? Power dissipated due to what?
PC is the power dissipated due to resistance, that is ohmic loss, ohmic power. Power loss per unit length dissipated by resistance. Power loss per unit length in the dielectric, that is PD. Sigma is the conductivity of the dielectric substrate. Okay. Now what you're doing is substitute your equation, that is equation 3, in the equation 2. So if I simplify that, you will be getting the equation as, instead of, we have already written the equation for minus dP by dZ, that is PC plus PD. So write directly the equation of PC plus PD in equation 2. So substitute equation 3 in equation 2. So you'll be getting it as, don't write alpha, write for alpha C plus alpha D, which is equal to, instead of minus dP by dZ, we have got it as PC plus PD. PC plus PD divided by 2 times of P of Z, which is also equal to PC divided by 2P of Z plus PD divided by 2P of Z.
Whole minus should be there, no, ma'am?
You are writing for minus P of Z, no? You are finding the equation only for dP of Z by dZ.
If we are not cancelling the minus in the right hand side, then we'll have.
Yeah, that only I have
both the
told you
sides.
here, no? So if you take minus here, that is minus I into R into I. So this complex conjugate and your minus I, if you put it inside the magnitude, it will be magnitude of I square. So I have just kept it directly here, that minus of dP of Z by dZ.
Okay. I understood.
Yeah. So if you write the direct equation for that, you will get it as PC divided by T2P of Z plus PD divided by 2P of Z. Now from this, you write the separate equation for alpha D and alpha Z. Comparing the right hand side and left hand side, you will get both the equations of attenuation for alpha D as well as alpha C. From this, compare it. You can write alpha D is equal to PD divided by 2P of Z. Similarly, alpha C is equal to P of PC divided by 2P of Z. The unit of, what is the unit of attenuation constant?
Nepers per unit length.
Nepers per, here it is centimeter. Similarly, alpha C is Nepers per centimeter. Write down the equations. Then next you have one more which is with respect to dielectric loss. clear the screen. The second one, this is the first thing what you have derived now. This is the relation of attenuation for ohmic laws and dielectric laws. Now finding out what is actually a dielectric laws equation. You need to derive a dielectric laws. To derive this dielectric laws, you know that all the dielectric materials, usually it will have some conductivity. So which should be usually less than omega epsilon. All the conductivity which we take, usually the conductivity you can either represent it as delta or you can represent it as sigma, which is always having the lesser value, that is omega epsilon. Now, when this conductivity is negligible, you have the electric and magnetic field in the dielectrics, which are no longer with respect to time and phase, since we are considering it as very small value. So the displacement current density, or we can say the conduction current density, which is, we can write in terms of graph, that is, if we consider J sigma with respect to the conductivity, which is similar to sigma into your electric field. Similarly, JD, which is with respect to dielectric, which is J omega epsilon E. These are the general equations. This is not there. I'm just telling you for your reference so that you should know how the equation has come. This is with respect to the variation of theta, where theta is nothing but, if you write tan theta, that will be tan inverse of sigma by omega epsilon. Let us just write for this particular equation in terms of J sigma, which is sigma into E. JD is J omega epsilon into E. These two are the equations which represents the conductivity or loss tangent function. This is nothing but Js, which is equal to sigma plus J omega E into capital E. Don't get confused. This is not there. I'm just telling you this theta, how it has come. This theta value, that is tan theta, is nothing but opposite by adjacent, where you get sigma into omega epsilon. So just forget about this. Just let it be across one side. When we derive it, I'll tell you why exactly is that. Now, when you consider this dielectric loss, I've told you the conductivity of the dielectric will be neglected. So that electric and magnetic fields in the dielectric will not be across the time phase. So dielectric constant general formula how we represent in microstrip line is sigma by 2 square root of mu by epsilon in terms of again Nepers per centimeter, or it is sigma by 2 square root of mu by epsilon, where sigma is the conductivity of the dielectric substrate. We know sigma is related with unit, that is moles per centimeter. In terms of dielectric loss tangent, this is when you write for tan theta. So tan theta is equal to sigma by omega epsilon. This equation has come exactly from this particular graph. But since this graph or this whole theory concept is not there, I just want you to know that this is nothing but the displacement current density, what is called as J sigma and JD. From this, we write the equation and we derive it for tan theta. For time being, all the equations you can by heart in this. So tan theta is equal to sigma by omega epsilon. This is the dielectric loss tangent. Now these two equations, you can express your alpha D as, that is sigma divided by 2 square root of mu by epsilon naught. You have to write for mu, you have to write for epsilon naught value. Because in free space, you're writing for mu is equal to mu naught into mu r. Similarly, epsilon is equal to epsilon naught into epsilon r. You're going to substitute this value in terms of mu and mu naught. Before that, you have to find out what is sigma from this equation. Sigma from this is nothing but omega epsilon tan theta. So substitute it here, omega epsilon tan theta divided by 2 square root of mu by epsilon. In free space, mu r and epsilon r is 1. So omega epsilon You can see here there is an epsilon, here there is a square root of epsilon. If you cancel both, you will get in the numerator square root of epsilon into square root of mu divided by 2 tan theta, which is Nepers per centimeter. So there are many equations for dielectric losses. The first general expression what you have is sigma by 2 square root of mu by epsilon, where sigma is the conductivity moles per centimeter. Substrate which is considered, that is, which is having a dielectric loss tangent, in terms of dielectric loss tangent, tan theta is equal to sigma by omega epsilon. Write for sigma from this as omega epsilon of tan theta. If you consider this as one equation, this is two equation, substitute 2 in 1, you get omega epsilon tan theta divided by 2 square root of mu by epsilon. So just simplify, you have epsilon in the numerator, denominator, you have square root of epsilon. So this and this will get cancelled. You will have square root of mu epsilon by 2 tan theta, which is Nepers per centimeter. Consider this as third equation. Now, since your microstrip line is a non-magnetic, which means that it is mixed with the dielectric system, which is having upper dielectric as well as lower dielectric with respect to air. We have told already the radiation pattern or the traveling waves which you take is partially in the air. So you will be considering mu r and mu epsilon r as 1 here and substitute for the same equation which you have got here for mu naught and epsilon naught. So if you substitute it, the equation of alpha d is nothing but 4.34 q epsilon by square root of epsilon re square root of mu by epsilon naught. Wait, I'll write it once more in the above equation. Alpha d is equal to 4.34 q sigma by epsilon re, which is effective dielectric constant, square root of mu naught by epsilon naught. There is no derivation again. You have to by heart the equation. This equation is the upper dielectric above the microstrip ribbon when you consider it as air, in which the losses will not occur. So the equation is 4.34 q sigma by square root of epsilon re square root of mu naught by epsilon naught, which is again substitute for mu naught and epsilon naught, 34 q sigma by square root of epsilon re. This is 4 into 10 to the power minus 7, 8.854 into 10 power minus 12. So the equation what you get for this just check, it should be 1.634 into 10 power 3 q sigma by square root of epsilon re, where here this is in terms of dB per centimeter. Epsilon re is the effective dielectric constant of a substrate. This q which has come here, this is called as dielectric filling, which is given as q is equal to epsilon re minus 1 divided by epsilon r minus 1. This is called as dielectric filling, that is q, which will relate your dielectric constant as well as effective dielectric constant, which is given as epsilon re minus 1, epsilon r minus 1. So the final equation of your attenuation constant with respect to the dielectric constant or effective dielectric is 1.634 into 10 to the power 3 Q sigma divided by square root of epsilon Re. Consider this as fourth equation. Done. I'll clear the screen. Now the same attenuation constant you have to, dielectric constant you have to write in terms of wavelength, or you have to derive in terms of wavelength. The equation what you have to get is 27.3 Q epsilon R by epsilon Re tan theta divided by lambda G, which is in terms of dB by lambda G. So we need to derive it now in terms of wavelength. So to derive that, first consider what is omega. That is, omega is equal to 2 pi f. Write f in terms of wavelength, c by lambda naught, because we know f is equal to c by lambda. So this lambda naught, which is called as, when you consider just lambda, it is just wavelength. When you consider lambda naught, it is called as free space wavelength. And the definition of a free space wavelength says that it is nothing but guided wavelength, which is mainly the one which you use with respect to the frequency, into your effective dielectric constant, that is epsilon Re. Lambda naught is a free space wavelength, which is nothing but the product of guided wavelength into the square of effective dielectric constant. Guided wavelength is given by lambda G, and this says effective dielectric constant, that is square root of epsilon Re. Substitute, consider this as equation 1, this as equation 2. Substitute equation 2 in equation 1. So you have omega is equal to 2 pi c divided by lambda G into square root of epsilon Re. And you know that what is the dielectric constant in terms of the free space, that is 1.634 into 10 to the power 3 Q sigma divided by square root of epsilon Re, previous equation which we have written. To this equation, you have, that is 1.634 into 10 to the power 3 Q, but we also know that sigma is equal to omega epsilon tan theta, the first equation which we have written for tan theta. So you can write sigma as omega epsilon tan theta. So write this equation as 1.634 into 10 to the power 3 into Q into omega epsilon tan theta. Divide the whole equation by square root of epsilon Re. Why we are substituting for sigma is we need an equation for omega. We have written for omega. So omega can be obtained from sigma, that is omega epsilon tan theta. Now substitute wherever you have omega this equation and simplify. Write down what is omega first, that is 2 pi f. F is nothing but c by lambda naught. Lambda naught is a free space wavelength, which is product of guided wavelength and effective dielectric constant. So lambda naught is lambda G into square root of epsilon Re. Substitute equation 2 in 1. So you get omega is equal to 2 pi c lambda G square root of epsilon Re. From that, we know the dielectric loss equation as, or dielectric attenuation equation as, alpha D is equal to 1.634 into 10 power 3 Q sigma by square root of epsilon Re. Substitute for sigma as omega epsilon tan theta. Now substitute for omega. So alpha D is equal to 1.634 into 10 to the power 3 into Q. For omega, you write it as 2 pi c divided by lambda g square root of epsilon re into epsilon tan theta divided by square root of epsilon r. Simplify and tell me what is the answer. For epsilon, you can substitute as 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12. That is epsilon naught into epsilon r. Epsilon r will be here. Means for epsilon naught, you can write it as 8.854 into 10 to the minus 12. Lambda g, this will be multiplied.
Ma'am, should we substitute for C also, ma'am? 3 into 10 power 8.
C value we have.
Yeah, C also you have to substitute. This is 3 into 10 to the power 8. We will be left out with 1.634 into 10 power 3 into 2 into pi into 3 into 10 power 8 into 8.854 10 power minus 12 q epsilon r tan theta divided by lambda g epsilon r e. This numerator you simplify.
Is it 27, ma'am? 27.27.
Yeah, correct. It is 27.3 q epsilon r by epsilon re tan theta divided by lambda g. That is dB per centimeter. Where you know lambda g is nothing but lambda naught into square root of epsilon r, which we have written for guided free space wavelength. Where lambda naught is free space wavelength, lambda g is the guided wavelength. Or you can also write it as, we know lambda naught is nothing but c by f into epsilon re, where c is the velocity of light, f is the frequency. Everybody are getting 27.3?
Yes, ma'am.
Now here, if the loss tangent is nothing but your tan theta, you can see it is independent of frequency here. The dielectric attenuation per wavelength, that is also alpha d. Dielectric attenuation per wavelength, that is also independent of frequency. So if the substrate conductivity is independent of the frequency, as for a semiconductor, then you can say that the attenuation, that is dielectric attenuation, is also independent of the frequency. The substrate as well as the loss tangent as well as dielectric attenuation are all independent of frequency. So even the dielectric attenuation is also independent of the frequency. And since you can see Q, it is a function of epsilon r, and W by H, which is also called as the filling factor, that is Q of loss tangent, that is Q epsilon r by epsilon re. Q is a function of epsilon r and epsilon re. For the conductivity, say Q by epsilon re are all the functions, are all the quantities where they are all related to each other. It is a function of epsilon r. It is also a function of epsilon re. That is the quantities. So this is one important equation. Then we just go through once. So these three losses, out of that, Yeah. This was the one you studied today, that is power loss in the microstrips. So power carried by the traveling wave in z direction. We had written the equation for power, half into V into I complex conjugate. Write only for z direction. You'll get half into V plus z naught e to the power minus 2 alpha z, which we know that P naught, that is output power, is half into V plus square z naught e to the power minus 2 alpha z. Attenuation constant alpha can be represented as minus dP by dz 2P of z, which is alpha d plus alpha c. Power dissipation per unit length is calculated as, that is dP by dz minus half into V into I star. Bring the negative inside. You can write for that as R into I, sigma into V. So you have the equation for PC and PD. Similarly, write for both attenuation constant and alpha c, that is ohmic attenuation, which is PD by 2 of P of Z, PC by 2 of P of Z, Nepers per meter or centimeter. Dielectric loss from first unit, that is, you have in terms of alpha, that is sigma by 2 square root of mu by epsilon naught. Phase constant beta is omega into square root of mu epsilon. Dielectric attenuation constant for tan theta as sigma by omega epsilon, we get as, for sigma you substituted. So you get omega by 2 square root of mu epsilon tan theta. This equation, it is actually from the equation called as Welch and Pratt equation. So from that equation, you have got all these equations, which I have told you, the general equation alpha, beta, and alpha d. Similarly, from this modified equation of Pucel, you will be getting the equation, that is 4.34 q sigma square root of epsilon Re square root of mu naught into epsilon naught. Substitute the values of mu naught and epsilon naught. You will get it as 1.634 into 10 to the power 3 q sigma square root of epsilon Re dB per meter, where q is called as filling factor, which is epsilon Re minus 1, epsilon R minus 1. You express alpha d in terms of dB per lambda g. That is what you have derived now, considering omega values and substituting it here, which is 27.3 q epsilon R by epsilon Re tan theta by lambda g in terms of dB per wavelength, where lambda g is lambda naught divided by square root of epsilon Re, or if you substitute for free space wavelength, it is C by F square root of epsilon Re.